All right, so what you see here is the Griffin Armament Optimus suppressor. It's a bunch of parts. I just disassembled it so you can see all the parts that I got from Silencer Shop. Here is the 5 baffles. I don't really want to take it apart. They are keyed, so when you try to put them on, they don't lock until you get them just right. It takes a while to get these things keyed back in. It's a pain in the butt. Okay, there we go. What helps is if you look for this indentation in the baffle stack and you get the other one, they're 180 degrees opposite of each other. There we go. So you stack together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 baffle stacks. This is the actual can. It has the serial number and information right here engraved right there. It's threaded on both ends. One has shorter threads than the other. So when you're looking at the writing, you want to read from obviously left to right. When you're looking at it from left to right, this is the muzzle end. This is the part that screws onto the gun. So we'll take our baffle stack, stick it back inside, gently nudge it back in with this rod. Then we're going to take, there's 4 rings here. We're going to take the baffle retaining ring, thread it in. Now this is the part I like a lot. This is the Nielsen device for your pistol. There's like a star-shaped cuts that fits the Nielsen device perfectly, and that becomes your wrench to screw these in. So we'll screw those in. It helps to have a tool when you're working on the Optimus. I recommend the multitasker. This is the multitasker series 3, I believe. Yeah, multitasker series 3. So I'm just going to take my punch, shove it in through the holes, and now I can torque down on that baffle stack retaining ring. Now, Silencer Shop gave me 3 end caps. I don't know why there's two of the same one. Both of these look like 30 caliber. One has a little notch cut into it. I'm not sure if that was a baffle strike or something to that degree. We're gonna go with the 30 caliber one. The other one is for 22 or 5.56. It's a smaller hole. Now the Griffin Armament Optimus can do 300 Win Mag down to 22 long rifle. Now that basically you're looking at 30 caliber and down, so you can't do 45s, you can't do 40 caliber out of this thing, but you can do 300 Win Mag, 30-06, 7.62 by 51 with 308, or 7.6 by 39, 300 blackout. You can do 9mm as a pistol can, and then you can go down to 5.56, 223, and then 22 long rifle, and then probably 17 HMR and all those little rimfires calibers should be fine in this can. All right, so we got the front half of the can set up. Now, let's go with the pistol setup. That was the confusing part that I had about this can. There wasn't really much instructions or diagrams or anything that really explained what sequence these parts go together. So this already came assembled like that. So the pistol orientation, you'll see there's 2 springs. There's 2 springs right here. There's this thing. You have all these. Now these are Tri-lug adapters with different threadings. One of them is 1/2 by 28. The other one is 1/2 by 38. One of them is for SIGs, 13.5 by 1 left-handed, and I believe this is 5/8 for a 308. Anyway, so let's go back to building this for a pistol. You're going to need the long spring, sleeve it over the Nielsen device, and then you have these end caps. This is the one, it's smooth, there's no threading on it. This one has this sort of like weird rounded triangle shape. That's a Tri-lug. This is direct threads for 1/2 by 28. This is direct threads for 5/8 by 28. So you take the smooth one. Now there's an O-ring in here, so when you sleeve it on, it doesn't want to go down. You really got to push that thing down, and it'll sleeve on there. Now you have the spring captured by the Nielsen device and the end cap. that threads inside this piece. And then one thing they give you that's kind of really handy is this giant rubber nut, which has different notches. So this side is for this retaining nut for the pistol. So you just put it on and helps you torque it down. And then you thread this on the back, and that's it. And now you can screw this onto any pistol. I have a little 22. Now, this Nielsen device is really for like a semi-automatic with a tilting barrel, like say a Glock or M&P pistol. Okay. I tried shooting the other day on my Glock without the Nielsen device. It shot, it did not cycle the next round. In fact, it had a problem ejecting the round. So for this setup on a 22, you can just go direct thread because this is a fixed barrel. But I'm just showing you what, if this was a 9mm or standard tilting barrel design pistol, this is the setup you want. I don't understand the physics of why a Nielsen device is required, but I've tested it and it doesn't work without it. So use this for direct thread onto a pistol 5/8 by 28. What I did try to do on a pistol was be lazy and screw this Tri-lug adapter and just quick attach the can onto the pistol and it wouldn't function. So that's the pistol setup. We'll undo that and now we'll go Tri-lug. Oh, if I want to do, hold on, since I have it all set up. So with this thing in here, I don't know what it's called. That's basically for your pistol short can setup. Having a castle nut wrench really helps to torque this thing down, or sometimes it's really stuck on there and I can't get that undone, so it just helps to have that to loosen it or tighten it. Now you can use your regular castle nut wrench, but this thing's very handy for working on Optimus and on your gun. Okay, so this is the direct thread end cap. It's just going to thread onto here. Okay, we can torque it down with this little rubber nut wrench. And again, now this would be set up for, like say on an AR, where you have 5/8 by 28 and direct thread it right onto the AR. Now, I shot it like this. It'll work. It makes it hearing safe, but I preface that with just barely. It wasn't comfortable. Now I was shooting it off a porch, then there's a roof above me, and I did stick the can out of the porch balcony, but it was mildly uncomfortable. Really it wasn't pleasant. Much better than, because I didn't have ears on, but if I didn't have ears on without this, it would suck a lot even more. Now you're supposed to really shoot it with this added on there, but I'll explain that later. Now we're going to go to the Tri-lug setup, which is my favorite with the setup. If you have a bunch of different host guns you want to shoot this on, and you want to quick attach it onto a bunch of different things without having to change the Optimus a lot, because there's a lot of parts to keep track of. So take this. All right, so that's one of the problems I had, is unscrewing this undid this entire thing, and I didn't get that end cap off. So I have to get the end cap off and undo this thing at the same time. There we go. You could probably have used a screwdriver to go through these holes and twist to break this end cap off. Okay. Tri-lug adapter or mount. I don't know what this is, spacer. It goes in there, and then the short spring goes on top there like that. And then this goes in there. You push and twist to tighten it. And now we're set up for Tri-lug. So I screwed the little Tri-lug adapter on here. So this is the way it works. You push, twist, and it's on there. Okay, that's pretty cool. For another example, it won't fit with this Surefire handguard on, but your classic MP5 style clone on. Okay, and you have your suppressed gun. I really like the Tri-lug Makes things nice and easy when you want to swap between a whole bunch of different cans. Now be careful, obviously, the cans do get hot, so wear gloves or have a special mitt. Silencer Shop sent me these little mitts. I guess they're like oven mitts. They're pretty handy, but it's been cold here lately, so I haven't really needed to use it, but it's nice to have. Okay, so this is the short pistol can setup. If you want to shoot it in 5.56, you can do it as I showed you. It's just not that quiet. Now, Silencer Shop sent me all this stuff, and they sent me this. This is called a taper mount. Unfortunately, they only sent me one of them, and it's only threaded for 5/8, so basically a 308. So this screws onto here. Now, one thing that Griffin Armament mentioned on the website is that this little short extension piece can act as a muzzle device, like the Surefire Warden, or I don't know the other names for the other ones. I forget what it's called, but basically it redirects all the muzzle gas flashes, the muzzle blast forwards, if you need that. So to shoot this for a bigger cartridge like 308, 300 Win Mag, something big, and 5.56, you would use the short one for 5.56. You use this longer one for 7.62. I'm not sure if you can use a short one for 7.62 by 39. I don't have an AK at the moment to try it. You have an extra baffle. Now this is not a spare baffle, this is the blast baffle, and that goes in the back. It doesn't click into the other 5 baffles that you saw earlier. It just drops in. Kind of need to push it down a little bit. And then you screw it onto that. Now I shot this the other day. It was very, very pleasant. I was just shooting 145 grain NATO rounds by ZQI ammo. It is a little bit long, but you know, this is a 308, so that's how you would set it up for the larger calibers. None of this stuff will interface with the back of this other than the taper mount that you saw earlier. That was the confusing part about this whole system. If you don't know what these pieces do or what they are, you're kind of in the dark, groping around, trying to figure out what all these pieces do and how they go together. Because I was trying to figure out, wait, how come this doesn't screw together? I'm confused, what's going on? This looks like it might go in, it doesn't. That is the way this is set up, okay? So only this and this go in the back of this can. These are for interfacing with the direct thread that's on there, or the taper mount I should say, and it's kind of stuck in there now. That's because I didn't torque that on my gun. I untorqued it just now, but you're supposed to take this taper mount on a 308, torque it down to 45 foot-pounds. If it's 5.56, you do I believe 25 foot-pounds. I'm not sure, double check with Griffin Armament. Now this blast baffle is in here, and if you want to go back to using this, it's in the way, and that's why this push rod taper lock baffle push tool. So basically you stick this, and you've got to put it through a 9mm 30 caliber end cap. If you try to do it here, it's obviously not going to fit through the hole, so you push it in there and you just tap it out and it comes out. This rod's very handy. And then we're back to the pistol configuration. that's the Griffin Armament Optimus. Once you understand where the pieces go, it's pretty simple. But if you're in the dark, it's kind of daunting and you don't know where the pieces go. So there you go. That's a whole suppressor. This I got from my friend. He works at Hygenol. It's called Let Off. It actually works pretty good. There are wipes. There's foaming hand soap. There's disposable wipes. This is supposed to remove heavy metals and lead off your skin. And it actually does a pretty good job of cleaning suppressor parts. I mean, look at all that dirt that's coming right off. Now it's not going to get like the blast parts perfectly clean, but it gets a lot of that black residue off of these things and off your hands. So pretty good job. That's it.